So I know that you wrote a few pieces for the Harvard Business Review.
Right.
There was one that was explaining what operations research was in the very early years, and then later on there was an extraordinary three-parter on inventory policies.
Right.
Could you tell us a little bit about how those came to be and how they were received?
Well, in the early days of the group, back in the early 50s, we were trying to express to potential clients what it was that we were doing. So I undertook to put together a memorandum that would describe this, describe what we were doing, describe our philosophy, give some examples that we had been working on. And Cy Herman, who was a young faculty member at MIT at the time, was also doing some consulting with us. He was a professor in marketing. And he looked at this and said he thought it could be published in the Harvard Business Review. So he took the lead in getting the editor of the Business Review to take a look at it, and they decided it was interesting and published it. And they cut it back quite a bit, which was their privilege. So later, we had been working on some production planning and inventory control issues in different ways. And as I looked at our experience, it seemed to me that they created a sort of a coherent whole, that you could see the functions of inventory as a productive investment that could be managed, rather than something that people wish they didn't have to deal with. So I wrote this little paper on describing this point of view about inventory management. And since in our previous experience with the Business Review, they'd cut back the manuscript, I decided I'd make it long enough so when they cut it back, it would still make sense. Well, when they looked at it, they said, it's great, and we want you to expand it. So I think that was perhaps one of the first times they ever published something in series like that. And it worked out very well.
Did you get people inquiring about OR from
a lot,
those things?
Yeah. But from the early paper, we got quite a bit of interest. And for example, I remember Cy and I had dinner here with the chairman of Procter & Gamble, who had read the paper and had us start some work on one aspect of their operations as a result.